Good morning. This has been tremendously inspiring to hear the presentations of the other departments and sections. Ours is a little different in that we don't directly build and manage projects the way many of the departments do. We do provide funding through a number of the programs in the Community Services Division, which includes community development projects, work training, affordable housing projects, which is my area. We draw our inspiration from the commitment of the county executive to green building and sustainable design. We're continually trying to figure out how to bring that into our work and to move that forward. This is an example, a very recent project that opened just yesterday, as a matter of fact, that got a Green Globe Award from the county executive, illustrating that commitment. In thinking about how to talk about what we do, it seemed to me to make sense to speak a little bit about accomplishments over the past year, talk a bit about how we're actually able to do that because we don't have the direct control over construction and management of projects through collaborations at the local and the statewide level, and then to look at how we take that inspiration into the future through pilot projects and sort of continually moving the envelope. First, a couple of the accomplishments from past year. This is the YWCA Family Village project in Issaquah. It's a 146 unit family affordable housing project that got that Green Globe Award. Very, very advanced in terms of design, energy efficiency in particular, a number of other features, drawing on some stimulus funding to add sustainable design features. One thing very good about this was that it incorporated in the kitchen designs the space to enable tenants to compost food waste. The Passage Point project also very recently opened out at the former Cedar Hills alcohol treatment plant right near the Cedar Hills landfill. We partnered with the work training and youth build programs here to bring skill development and training opportunities to young people. This photo illustrates the deconstruction of one of the buildings on the site, which wasn't rehabbed. It had to be taken down. And young people who were engaged in a skill training program were employed to take down the building, salvage a lot of very high quality material out of there, which was the value of which went into supporting the deconstruction. The young people gained valuable skills. One of them was even hired by the general contractor as it was at the end of this deconstruction effort. This is another affordable housing project, senior housing in Federal Way, also completed this year, immediately next to the Federal Way Transit Center. This was built by the Korean Women's Association. One of the wonderful features of this is that it used some federal funding to include a very advanced in-unit heat pump system. We didn't have enough money to put this system in all of the units, so this will actually give us some really excellent data to compare the energy savings in the units that have the advanced system with the more conventional system, which will help us make the argument that systems like this might be incorporated into the design of future projects. The community development section in our department invests a lot of money into local infrastructure projects, such as this one in Shoreline, which is a green street program. And what this illustrates is a number of features: traffic calming, pedestrian-friendly design, and permeable paving that helps control stormwater runoff and protects water quality of local water resources. As I say, because we have so little direct control over these projects, the only way we exert influence is through collaboration, both at the local level through programs within our department, with other departments in the county, and with statewide funders, public funders, and also standard-setting agencies. A recent example that we're particularly proud of was our participation in the development of a new evergreen sustainable design standard, which is the statewide standard, sets a baseline for design and construction of all affordable housing projects. The original standard was put in place in about 2007 and was quite a step forward. And what we were doing in 10 and 11 was to look at the accomplishments of to date and set the bar a lot higher. Basically, all of the optional standards in the first version of the development standard were made mandatory, and then we pushed to add optional points. There's a required 50-point minimum for any project funded by the county to set those standards as high as we could. And in particular, I and a couple members of my staff participated in that and got into that standards some elements that we think are particularly important. One, in collaborating with public health, smoke-free housing is now a very important point criterion. Saving significant trees on a development site is also now gets you optional points. And we got into the standard something that I was particularly excited about, which was you get up to 8 points on this scale for incorporating in your design a enhanced building envelope design. If you think about the 50-year life of the projects that we're investing in, replacing windows, for example, and designing the building envelope so that that can be done without destroying the building is a very important accomplishment. To see in King County the first affordable housing project that achieves the living building standard, and that standard that the Green Building Council developed is actually a building that makes the environment around it better. It not only has no negative impact, it actually improves the environment around it. You can look online and see what that is. Unlike Evergreen or LEED Gold, it's not something that you achieve by checking off points on a checklist, but you actually have to build a building and then meet, I think, something like 16 criteria after the building has been in operation. And only if you meet all of them do you actually get that designation. So what it means for us basically would be to encourage the housing development community and the design and construction community to envision and then propose a project that incorporated all of the state-of-the-art features that anyone can possibly think of, and then perhaps go beyond that a little bit. That would include things like green roofs with permeable paving to make sure there was no runoff from the site, reuse of water using some of the systems that we've heard about this morning. Modular construction is another one that we're looking at because of the advantages there, not so much for cost saving, but for energy efficiency, quality of construction, efficiency in eliminating waste and so forth. Water conservation, obviously a very critical component of sustainable design, reusing rainwater, minimizing the use of water for residential purposes and so on. Energy strategies, extremely important. At present still, for affordable housing, the most important strategy is probably putting in as much insulation as you possibly can. We're looking at photovoltaics, but because we're putting public money into projects that have to perform under difficult conditions and limited revenues over a 50-year lifetime, the payback period on state-of-the-art photovoltaics may not actually put them into the picture as part of the strategy yet. What we're waiting for is photovoltaics that have a useful life of at least 50 years and a payback period of perhaps 25 years. And that would actually make them a very good investment from the public point of view. I've touched on a lot of the technical aspects and of the problem as far as affordable housing and other community development projects goes, but the human aspect is equally important, because what we're doing is creating housing for people to live in and enhancing environments for the people who actually live, play, and work in them. Our planning efforts increasingly involve neighborhood people, usually people with relatively low incomes, people from different cultures. We have to make sure that the projects that we're investing public money into take account of the different needs, the different desires, the different changing circumstances of the people who are going to use them. And in affordable housing, for example, we're increasingly trying to think about how would you create a building that people could move into and grow, develop families, get older and so forth, and they wouldn't actually ever have to leave. That the design of the building and its adaptability over time would be such that this could provide a permanent home for people. That's about all. I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have, and I think this is the last presentation.